The Packers defeated the Detroit Lions 27-13 at Lambeau Field. A key factor in the victory was the Packers defense, which held the Lions running backs Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery to a combined average of 2.7 yards per touch on 34 touches. The Packers offense also generated around 280 total net yards. Then moving along to week 2 this Thursday night, the Packers won against the Washington Commanders 27-18 in a Thursday night football game at Lambeau Field. Jordan Love threw for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. And tight end Tucker Kraft had a career high 124 receiving yards on 6 catches, scoring one of the touchdowns, and Josh Jacobs contributed with another rushing touchdown. The Packers defense contained the Commander offense, holding them to just 11 yards in the first quarter. Today we're here to discuss how the Green Bay Packers are personally my favorites to win the Super Bowl this year, and how the whole league should be terrified of the new Green Bay Packers squad. But before we get started, make sure you guys hit like and sub. We're an up and coming YouTube channel on this YouTube platform, and if you like NFL content, please hit like and sub on the Twin Beams channel, and I'm gonna see you guys in the video. So they went out in week 1 against the division rivals. Jordan Love had a pretty efficient game, not throwing the most amount of passing yards, but still throwing 2 passing touchdowns on 16 for 22 passing attempts. Josh Jacobs and Romeo Doubs being notable offensive key factors on the reasoning of their winning. Josh Jacobs respectively had 19 carries with 66 yards and 1 rushing touchdown, like I said earlier. Romeo Doubs had 2 catches and 68 receiving yards, but man, the real stars of the show was that incredible defense and the amount of star power that they have in 3 levels of the defensive side of the ball. It just isn't fair, man. So starting off with their defensive line, of course, their huge acquisition of Micah Parsons, making a big impact in his Packers debut, logging a sack and helping the defense deliver an exceptional performance. His pressure throughout the game was a major factor in limiting the Lions' offense. Devontae Wyatt and Lucan Van Ness also have to be mentioned, as they were both disruptive in the run and pass and were also credited with a sack. Deontay Wyatt is specific, stepped up into a larger role this season, contributing a crucial sack on 4th down to help secure the win. One of the more notable names on their linebacker side of the field is Edgerrin Cooper, giving a solid grade for his performance. A key play showed Cooper closing a running lane, forcing a 6-yard loss against. One player that's pretty happy about the Micah Parsons accusation is Evan Williams, as he recorded an interception following a pressure created by Micah Parsons. Keyshawn Nixon also made a tackle for loss on a running back play and was active in coverage, and Carrington Valentine received a strong grade as well for his work in the secondary. Their team performance as a whole held Detroit's running backs Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery to a combined 44 yards on 20 carries, like I said earlier, and the unit also won the turnover and sack battles, just completely destroying a team that won 15 games last season. And when you combine that with the performance of Jordan Love as an efficiency, it's hard seeing a team beating the Green Bay Packers this year. And I'm fully aware that the Ravens and Bills also had a pretty incredible game the week 1. But I'm excited to see this NFC powerhouse go against those AFC powerhouses. And personally, if they were to go against each other, I would say that the Green Bay Packers overall have a more well-rounded team, especially when you take a look into their week 2 performance, as Jordan Love would completely explode with almost 300 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns on 19 for 31 completions. Josh Jacobs would improve from his previous performance, having 84 yards on 23 carries and 1 rushing touchdown. And like I said earlier, Tucker Kraft would explode this game, having 124 receiving yards on 6 catches and 1 catching touchdown. So when you mix that with their defensive performance that I'm going to speak on in a second, I can't believe the fact that these motherfuckers got Micah Parsons and then have this much of a stacked offense. It's just not fair for the rest of the league. Specifically on the defensive side of the ball, Micah Parsons would be credited with half a sack and 8 QB pressures. He will consistently be disruptive in the backfield and draw a bunch of penalties on the Washington Commanders offensive line, and he would create pressure on Jaden Daniels and completely energize the defense. As you know, that's something that they needed last year, like a it factor on the defensive line. And now that they got, in my opinion, the best edge rusher in the league, it's just scary for the new quarterbacks that are going to have to play against the Green Bay Packers. Devontae Wyatt would also have a pretty good game as well, generating a high number of pressures, and he would bat down a couple of passes and track down a strangling quarterback in Jaden McDaniels, just trying to get away from the other edge rusher on the other side of the ball. He'd be credited with 7 pressures, 2 batted passes, and 1 whole sack. Rashawn Gary and Edgerrin Cooper would also both be credited with 4 pressures, respectively each. Javon Bullard would step up and have 4 stops, as he would lead the defense in stops and was physical in both coverage and against the run. Carrington Valentine limited Terry McLaurin to only 1 catch for 7 yards on 4 targets, only allowing that 1 catch. And Keyshawn Nixon again would have another incredible game, locking down receivers, forcing incompletions, and would have 5 pass breakups. You can go on and on of how the Green Bay Packers just completely obliterated the Washington Commanders, as well as they obliterated the Detroit Lions in Week 1. Notably, the Packers would allow fewer than 250 yards in each of their first 2 games, a feat that has not been accomplished since 1995. And I know I spoke a lot on their defense, but I do want to speak about Jordan Love and how demonstrated a very strong performance in both Week 1 and Week 2, having a way better performance in Week 2. Combining the numbers in both weeks, he would have 35 completions on 53 attempts with 66% completion rating, a 3% overall jump than the previous season. And I know that it's only been 2 games, but that's a pretty good start to the season. He's already on track to have 500 yards, as he's at 480 passing yards on 4 passing touchdowns. It has an 120 passer rating compared to last season having a 96.7 and already has 16 rushing touchdowns. Notable factors in his game is his improved efficiency and his turnover avoidance, as he would boast a higher completion percentage, like I said earlier, and a significantly higher passer rating, especially notably as he has not thrown a single interception yet. I know that the Commanders and the Lions aren't really well known for their defensive side of the ball, but not throwing an interception in either of those games shows his improvement from last year and shows that he is still improving as a football player. And the teams that they're beating, I mean, the Detroit Lions were the NFC North champions last year, and the Washington Commanders were the NFC Championship team in 2024. So they're not beating any fucking team out here. They're not beating the Chicago Bears. They're beating very prominent teams that were going to go out there and, start a season with a couple of wins, but actually started with losses because they were put against this fucking stacked roster. And if he stays on this track record with this stacked defense, personally, I don't see any NFL team beating the Green Bay Packers anytime soon, especially in the playoffs. You can say that I'm jumping the gun here, but personally, when you go out there and you beat 2 previously stated as Super Bowl contenders, and not just beating them, but beating them very, very convincingly, personally, I just don't see any other NFL teams competing with the Green Bay Packers. But let me know what you guys think. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Twin Beams loves you guys. Make sure you guys hit like and sub. And I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.